Welcome to the One-on-One Sports Bracketology Special. I'm Tom Waterman.
And I'm Andrew Spring. Stay tuned for my favorite show of the year where we break down each region matchup by matchup and even give you some insight into the Sweet 16 and beyond.
We've got an incredible show lined up for you tonight, so grab your bracket and start picking. This year's Bracketology Special starts right now.
And then Charles Barkley came out and, oh, hi, welcome to the broadcast. Selection Sunday has come and gone and many teams are dancing while others are left fuming. Tom, which seedings and selections did you find either surprising and which teams did you feel should have gotten a bid and didn't?
I can't believe Georgetown's number 3 seed. This is a team that finished 7th in the Big East, Andrew. Just because they got to the conference final, so what? They lost 10 games this year.
I can't believe Temple is a 5 seed. Not only did they win the A10, they won the A10 tournament. Giving them a 5 seed is a slap in their face, and I really think that Fran Dunphy's team will look at that seeding and say, you know what, Kentucky, here we come.
I agree completely. Northern Iowa, an 8 seed. The Conference Tournament Selection Committee really placed too much of an emphasis on the Big 6. What about the outside teams? Mountain, West Conference, all these other A10, no respect this year.
Now, I think if New Mexico had won their conference tournament and they didn't, they could have gotten as high as a 2 seed, but they're getting a 3 seed. Good for them. I thought they were going to drop to a 4 seed with that semifinal loss to San Diego State.
Absolutely. About teams that didn't make the tournament this year, Virginia Tech, a lot of, terrible outside of conference resume this year.
Jay Billis was so right in his analysis of the teams that did not make it this year. If you weren't good enough to make the tournament, you didn't make the tournament. I mean, the bubble was so weak that Illinois, yeah, do they have a gripe? Mississippi State, yeah, they made the SEC tournament. They have a gripe, and they won the SEC West. And Illinois, all three, and Virginia Tech, they all three have a gripe. But you know what? You didn't make it because you weren't good enough. If you were good enough, you'd make it.
Only team that has a gripe, Memphis, because Houston won that conference, and Houston's terrible.
Yeah, no, I will agree with you there. But at the same time, as Gary Williams has always said, win your games and you get in the tournament. You don't win your games.
We turn now to a controversy in Major League Baseball. Torrey Hunter, who has been a constant advocate for African-American players during his time in the major leagues, grabbed some headlines last week with these comments. People see dark faces out there, and that perception is that African-American, they're not us, they're imposters. Springs, what do you make of all this?
Well, I think, and Torrey's always been a kind of an outspoken guy, but I think he approaches in a very, just a wrong manner. Torrey wants to see more black and African-American players in the major leagues, but what he sees are a lot of black players with Latin names. So people kind of confuse the two ethnicities because of the color of their skin, literally.
Diversity is increasing in baseball. 28 players last year were foreign-born players. The fact that maybe they're not African-American, the game is still growing all over the world. These African-American players are playing basketball. They're playing football. Baseball is just not popular right now.
Right. Baseball is not the American pastime that it was in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, back in the early to mid 20th century. At the same time, I think that basketball is such an easy thing to pick up for, and I'm not trying to stereotype in any way for black athletes because all you need is a ball and a hoop. Baseball requires money. The same thing with football. The same thing with sports like lacrosse, hockey. These are more white-collar sports, whereas basketball is a sport that is shared by every color, blue and white.
Definitely.
One man who has never been mistaken for an imposter is former Chargers running back LaDainian Tomlinson. Now with the New York Jets, Tom, how good do you think will LT be in the Big Apple?
Well, it's an okay move. He's going to a backfield with Leon Washington and Sean Green. There's going to be opportunities for carries, but if he wanted to win a Super Bowl ring, he should go to Minnesota.
Exactly. And I think the thing that LaDainian needs to understand is that he wants to win. He's always wanted to win. That's been his. I mean, the guy took a pay cut, for heaven's sakes, with the Chargers. But if he wants to win a championship, then he needs to look at the entire scope of things. You're going to only have a sophomore quarterback with Mark Sanchez.
Who had 12 touchdowns and 20 picks last year.
And, I mean, somehow made it to the AFC Championship game, but I don't see the Jets even getting close to the AFC Championship game.
No, absolutely. I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs next year. I can name all 6 teams in the AFC that are better right now.
Couldn't agree with you more. And I think that Rex Ryan, Sean Green, and Mark Sanchez will all have that sophomore slump, just as Flacco did this year with Harbaugh and Ray Rice.
Absolutely. We now turn to one of those weird sports mysteries. Canadian gold medal winner Sidney Crosby's stick and glove from the gold medal game were reported missing after the game concluded. Luckily, they have since been found. But besides the question of where did they go, what piece of sports memorabilia would you least like to lose if you received it?
Well, I want to keep every trophy that I win. I'd probably say like any NCAA championship, the crystal
Crystal football.
But at the same time, any Masters trophy, the claret jug from the British Open, I would have those in a bank, a vault, security lockbox, something that I know where they are at all times, because golf trophies have such a historic value.
What about the Buckner ball? Something has a little more
Oh boy.
reverence to the Red Sox
you're
fans,
talking-
maybe the Mets fans.
So you're going away from the trophy aspect and going more towards the sports
Absolutely.
memorabilia.
This is what anyone would die for. The ball Mookie Wilson hit that rolled through Bill Buckner's legs. Red Sox fans still cry about this at night, Andrew.
I cry.
You should.
Not much. Not a cry. Not a real cry. Well, I'd love to talk about this all night, but we have to go help LeBron fix the copier in the break room. Chosen one. But stay tuned, because when we come back, Alex Rosenbaum and Greg Brzezowski will break down the South and Midwest region of the NCAA tournament. You're watching 101 Sports.